everyone, it is Dani'i and welcome to this update video. I trust and hope that you're doing really great, and we're going to be talking about what is going on in the North Atlantic Basin. So Patty has formed, and it is not the disturbance that is in the Caribbean. So if you saw my update video I posted last evening, I had mentioned that NHC has marked a new area where the formation chance was going up for it to develop, and I did mention that sometimes these subtropical systems, they come on quite quickly. That's exactly what happened with the disturbance near the Azores, and it has managed to acquire subtropical storm status. It is quite tiny as well, so taking a very close look at it here, you can see that circulation, that counterclockwise rotation. So it is going to be moving within the vicinity of the Azores as we head into the next few days. And we still have our Caribbean system. Matter of fact, the chance continues to increase forward. 80% formation chance through 7 days, 50% formation chance through the next 2 days. And it is going to be impacting Hispaniola, Jamaica, and Cuba with periods of very heavy rain regardless of development. But it is likely that we will see the system eventually become our next tropical storm. So it could become a depression by late this weekend, maybe early next week. Regardless, impacts are going to be likely in those aforementioned areas. We'll be looking at what models have to show, and especially Jamaica should be keeping a very, very close watch for impacts as we head into the new week. And we're going to kickstart things with Patty, just to get it out of the way. So here we have the cone forecast from the National Hurricane Center, and we can see that Patty is currently sustaining maximum winds up to 50 miles per hour, and it is moving to the east-southeast at 7 miles per hour. Now, it is going to be making its way into the vicinity of the Azores, and it is likely going to be unleashing periods of heavy rain, maybe 1 to 2 inches of rainfall across sections of the Azores, those gusty winds as well, maybe those tropical storm force winds, and very rough seas. But Patty's not going to be lasting out there very long as a subtropical cyclone, because it is going to be making its way into a more hostile environment. And how did it form so far up north? Well, even though the waters are quite cool up there, there's a lot of instability that has resulted in that airflow pressure sustaining some convection, so it got detached from the frontal systems out there. And by the way, this is something very common to see, especially at the start and in the latter part of the hurricane season with these subtropical developments from these fronts. So that low pressure area got detached from the frontal system, and it was able to sustain enough convection to be classified as a subtropical storm. It's not of a tropical nature out there. And in terms of our Caribbean system, so let us go ahead and zoom into the Caribbean. Here we can see this morning that we are starting to definitely see that increase in all that convection in parts of the southern Caribbean. And even in parts of Jamaica this morning, there's been some showers around, especially for our eastern parishes. Let me know in the comments what's going on for you. And there's that other disturbance with the airflow pressure just within the vicinity of Puerto Rico, and a lot of rainfall and thunderstorm activity noted offshore. So we're going to be taking a look at the rainfall forecast for today. Let's go on to it. And here we can see what is expected. So the more colorful shadings indicate more rainfall activity. So there will be a lot of rainfall offshore of the northeastern Caribbean and in parts of the southwestern Caribbean Sea. Much of that is likely to be offshore as well. So with the disturbance in the area, it is going to be enhancing a lot of rain that will eventually spread to the greater Antilles. So regardless of development, tomorrow through the middle of the coming week, it is likely that there will be an increase in rain across the parts of the greater Antilles, Jamaica, Cuba, and even for Hispaniola. But we could see development of a tropical storm as we're going to be heading into that time frame. And in terms of Jamaica, any impacts from if the system becomes a tropical depression or even a tropical storm would be around Tuesday. Overall, for the short term, though, as it pertains to rainfall for the greater Antilles, parts of Cuba, Jamaica, Hispaniola, even headed to Puerto Rico and the vicinity of the Virgin Islands, there could be some heavy rain at times today. Same thing for the southern Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. Through the lesser Antilles is likely to remain active as well. Anguilla all the way down through the Grenadines, maybe even for parts of Grenada, there could be some showers moving by. And that also goes for Barbados. Looking down to Trinidad and Tobago, we're not seeing where much is expected. Same thing for Guyana. And then as we head towards the ABC Islands, there could be some showers around today. Same thing, parts of Venezuela, Colombia, and it will be quite active within the vicinity of Central America. So for Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, even the offshore islands as well, going up to Belize, it is likely that there will be some periods of heavy rain within the area. Passing showers definitely possible across the Cayman Islands. So that is what is expected today in terms of rainfall activity, kind of the similar trends as we have been seeing over the past few days. But now, as it pertains to our Caribbean disturbance, we want to look at the model runs to see what is expected, because there is a pretty good trend. We have some consensus among the models in terms of where the system could go. Let's go ahead and kickstart things with the GFS. Now, the forecast time is up there. All these green shadings you're seeing around indicate the precipitation rate, and the black lines are called isobars. And those are lines that join areas of equal atmospheric pressure. And the more of them we see within a circular manner, and the value that we see dropping or highlighted in red, that is a sign of strengthening. So let's go ahead and take a look at what is expected. As we're going to be heading through the weekend, GFS has a system gradually developing and strengthening, even as it becoming a hurricane as it moves within the vicinity of Jamaica and eventually starts moving to the northwest or west-northwest. Now, GFS has it loitering a bit in the Gulf, but then it would start weakening. We also see it showing that other system trying to get itself together. Pretty interesting there. So as we're going to be heading into the latter part of next week, we'll see if something else will try to form near the Caribbean. As we head on to the Euro model, Euro is showing that airflow pressure not getting itself together as quickly as GFS does. It has maybe a depression moving towards the vicinity of Jamaica. We see lots of these green shadings around. So again, there's going to be that rainfall increase regardless. So Euro has a system making its way near Jamaica, likely going to be unleashing a lot of rainfall. Even those rough seas offshore as well in other areas such as Cuba and the Cayman Islands could be impacted by this. Eventually, Euro has it becoming a tropical storm and moving off into the Gulf. The Canadian model is up next, a similar expectation as what we just saw with Euro in terms of the system not organizing very, very quickly in the Caribbean, but trying to get itself together as it makes its way towards the vicinity of the Gulf. And then we have the ICON model. ICON is certainly expecting that we're going to be seeing that airflow pressure trying to get itself together slowly but surely, eventually move into the vicinity of Cuba and to the eastern Gulf of Mexico. So we can see some solid agreement in terms of the track of the system. It would be over or near Jamaica. That is going to be the track of it in terms of the low pressure center. And the center doesn't signify that that will be the only place impacted, because as I said, and as the National Hurricane Center has stated as well, other areas are going to be impacted with increased heavy rainfall. So that would be Hispaniola, Cuba, Jamaica, and of course, eventually for the Cayman Islands, it will be likely as well. Now, the waters in the area are very, very warm, not only at the surface, but beneath the surface. So once we have the other environmental conditions, especially as it pertains to the upper level winds becoming favorable, it is likely that we will see development of the system. And what is the next name on the list? So Patty is off. The next name is Raphael. So it is likely that this system here is going to become Raphael as we head into the next couple of days. It may not be immediately, but it is something that is eventually expected, as we saw on the various models. And once the system is really starting to get itself together, even as a tropical depression, we may have some watches or even warnings being issued for parts of the Greater Antilles. But of course, guys, I'm going to be keeping you posted as necessary. And in terms of that other disturbance there just to the north of Puerto Rico, that is going to be helping out with the increased rainfall within that area for the northeastern Caribbean Islands and even for the southern Bahamas and Turks and Caicos eventually. But that airflow pressure is likely to become absorbed by the disturbance in the Caribbean. And by the way, the disturbance should be designated as an invest or an area of investigation, where we get the model track guidance, the model intensity guidance, and even the high resolution data about it. So that should happen very, very soon, and I'll be keeping you guys posted as necessary. So this is going to be the talk of the season for the next couple of days. So that's it for right now, guys, and I do hope you found this update to be informative. However, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll respond to you when I have the chance to do so, and remember to always do otherwise.